Good day. It is Althea from the Bible in 1 year. Today we spend time in Leviticus 25, the year of Jubilee. Chapter 25 is a continuation from chapter 23 and can be divided into two sections. First is instruction for the sabbatical year for the land, verse 1 to 9, also mentioned in Exodus 23, verse 11. And the second part is instruction for the year of Jubilee, verse 8 to 55. Both these two celebrations are based on the Sabbath principle, 1 in 7. The 7 high Sabbath, as instructed in chapter 23, and the sabbatical year of the land and the Jubilee year are to be kept by Israel as a symbol that they are a holy people to a holy God. The Sabbath is the 7th day and is to be kept as a day of complete rest after 6 days of labor. Chapter 23, verse 3. God gave Israel the promised land to possess forever. Joshua 13 to 21. After they moved to the promised land, Israel were given instructions to observe the sabbatical year, a year of complete rest for the land, to replenish what was lost. The Israelites were to cultivate the land for 6 years, and in the 7th year there will be no agricultural activities, as it is beneficial for the soil to rest. Israel had to remember that the land belongs to God, verse 23, and whatever the land produced in the 7th year was a free gift from God, verse 6 to 7. For obedience and trust in God, God promised to give a special blessing in the 6th year, sufficient for 3 years, verse 20 to 22, until they could reap in the 9th year what was sown in the 8th year. Count 7 Sabbaths of 7 years. That is 49 years. The 50th year was the 2nd year in a row of sabbatical rest, a year of Jubilee, verse 8 to 12, announced by the sound of the trumpet on the Day of Atonement. Every 50 years there were an economical reset. Debts were cancelled, slaves were liberated, and people could return to their own ancestral property that was sold to another because of poverty. Verse 10 and 24 to 55. In the Jubilee year, all were made equal. This prevented permanent underclass. All had to trust God for provision, just like the poor did daily. This was a powerful testimony of dependence on God to provide enough to see them through. If Israel obeyed this command, God promised a special blessing in verse 20 to 22. This collaborates with Deuteronomy 15 verse 6. They will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. They will rule over many nations, but none will rule over them. In Leviticus 26 verse 33, we see that if Israel failed to keep this command, God would remove them from the land to give the land time to rest. Unfortunately, this happened to Israel when the Assyrians and the Babylonians took them into captivity. 2 Chronicles 36, verse 20 to 21. Jesus quotes Isaiah 61, verse 1 to 3, when he declares in Luke 4, verse 18 to 19, that he is sent by God to free those from physical and spiritual captivity, to restore sight to the spiritual blind, to set free the oppressed, to heal the blind and broken-hearted, to proclaim a favorable year of the Lord, to give joy instead of mourning, so that we can praise instead of being disheartened, to be trees of righteousness, that is, to be strong, full of integrity, justice, and in right standing with God, so that He may be glorified. In the New Testament, we as Christians are citizens of heaven, Philippians 3 verse 20, and on a day unknown to man, we will hear the blast of the trumpet, 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16 to 17, when we will go to our eternal home. Verse 18, 36 and 43, God not only says they should obey His statutes and keep His ordinances, but they should fear God with a profound reverence. That is, to take these instructions to heart, to follow them closely. That is, in today's life, we are to read and follow the instructions of the Bible with diligence. To love one another, John 13, verse 34 to 35, and to be generous to the poor, Proverbs 19, verse 17. To take sabbatical rests, that is, to set the things of this world aside, to make time for fellowship with God in a close, intimate relationship, Matthew 6, verse 33. We should trust in God to provide for all our needs, James 2, verse 15 to 16. To live with integrity and with a profound reverence for Him and His Word. Dwight D. Eisenhower says, I have two kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important, and the important are never urgent. Trust is built from fellowship. If you don't fellowship with God, you will never trust Him. May you be blessed. Goodbye.